Now, I know you're not too involved in politics, but let me ask you something. What do you think about this presidential election with Trump and Harris?
What you want? My own opinion, or who would I take? Or
Yeah, basically.
neither. I don't vote neither. I'm God. When the angel of the Lord asked Joshua, when Joshua asked the angel of the Lord, whose side are you on? The angel of the Lord say neither, because the tree of knowledge and good and evil still got the same root. So no matter, it give you a scale to weigh what's right, what's wrong. So the Democrats think they right, Republicans think they right, but God already declared the vision for America to George Washington. So if it ain't coming out of that vision, it's not going to be productive in the Lord, and therefore somebody gonna suffer.
Mm-hmm.
So the law always requires somebody to suffer, and all you gotta do is look at the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be careful who you side with, because when you're voting, you are saying you believe in that person if you don't think you believe in them or not. So be careful, because you become partaker of their sin.
Right.
So you have to be careful that you put your name on somebody else just because they're a Democrat, or just because they're white, or just because they're black. Just the only reason you do it, if you ain't got no substance, you better vote your conscience. And I'm always taught to vote my conscience, something I can sleep with at night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it.
Now, you mentioned George Washington, and me and you talked before, and you made a correlation between Washington, Georgia, and Washington, D.C.,
Yes.
and the nation.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on that a little bit for the people?
Well, George Washington, this is the first town named after George Washington. And this is the town that had the last council where slavery ended, right? And where the Civil War ended. And that when basically slavery ended. Now, Washington, D.C. is the place that runs the world. So it somehow connected through my apostle, because he wrote the book on the vision of George Washington, and he ended up coming here, and then he understood the connection between the two. So to me, I always look at Washington as a small picture of Washington, D.C., if that makes sense. So yeah, we have to establish the vision that George Washington designed. No, he didn't design them. Let me get this right. The vision that the angel of the Lord gave George Washington is the most important thing on the planet right now. Because if God gives a vision through an angel, it cannot change. It will not change. It cannot change, no matter how much you fight it. So just by me being here and understanding that, and God put me in Washington, Georgia, it automatically connects the two, some kind of way. So we have to search it out. And I really, really believe that Washington has a big impact for the whole country. If we, as a small city, are we small enough to start a movement and connected enough to make it grow, but we just got to get on the same accord and go back and look at the vision, because if you ain't got the vision, you're going to perish. Mm-hmm. You can come up with a vision of your own. You come up with a vision on your business, and vision for your business and stuff like that change. But the vision of the Lord will never change. So we have to figure out how we connected to America. To Washington, D.C., and what is our purpose in the vision that the Lord gave George Washington. So I would really encourage people to go back and read it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you read it, you can hear it, you can see it, and you will know which way we're supposed to be going.
Well, why do you think it's so hard for people to come together and get on one accord?
Nature. It's a nature thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why God said, get away from me, those who work iniquity. Iniquity is sin by nature. So God has to change. He said, you preach in my name, prophesy in my name, healed in my name, all of this. But he said, get away from me, those who work iniquity. Because people believe in God, but even the demons believe, but it's different than believing and knowing. Mm-hmm. And once you, he said, get away from me, I never knew you. So you have to believe till you become the know. And once you become a know, you get to see the God in you, and God produces you into what you created to be, which is a seed, reproduces after his own kind. being that, the seed of Christ in you will grow into Christ. So therefore, when you walk and when you relate with people, you will relate to people purely, I love you.
Right.
Purely, I'm not racist. Purely, I don't hate women. I don't hate, it's no hate. It's just, you just like Christ. You got the mind of Christ. I love everybody. If you hurt me, I still love you. Because when they were beating Christ, he never mumbled a word.
Right.
And it pleased him. So people got to be changed from what they was taught, because a lot of behavior is just learned behavior that people learn through life, and it got to be he said be transformed by the renewance of the mind. So people's minds got to be transformed into the mind of Christ so they can walk, represent, love everything just like Christ did.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you something. It's election season here in the county. How important do you think the position of a sheriff is?
Oh man, I don't know all the details of the position. I wish I had, but I know this: the sheriff. Every county must have a sheriff. You don't have to have a police. And I look at a lot, and the sheriff been here for a while. But I say that because I watch a lot of cowboy movies, right? And it's always the sheriff, and the sheriff make a lot of powerful decisions in and they got a lot of connection to the top, and they make a lot of calls. So it's a very, very important position. So right now, hey, just to be honest, Washington, hey, it's probably the battle of the century, So it affects a whole lot, man. It affects a whole lot. I can say that right now. I don't really know what all entails, like I said, but as you can see, according to the fight for it,